Well, let's go to Craig now. Craig, you're on the air.
Good morning, Bill.
How you doing, Craig?
I'm doing good, thanks.
That's good. Are you calling from Mud Lake?
Yes, I am.
Okay, nice to hear from you. Go right ahead, sir.
Okay, good show this morning. Good to hear from Colin O'Brien and Jim Morgan.
Yeah.
Very interesting information there as usual.
Well, there's going to be some interesting questions asked this afternoon at the Holiday Inn at the AGM.
There are. I envy him for being able to go there. I wish I could make that meeting because I'd like to ask some questions myself.
I wonder, is there any provision being made for any people, spokespersons of organizations and so on to fly in from Labrador and go to that AGM and ask some questions? I mean, you raised a good point there, Craig.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first I've heard of it. This emailer you had said that was advertised on your show, but first I've heard of it. Maybe it was advertised and I missed it.
I kind of missed it too, I have to say. Maybe that's just me, though, and I'm not saying that they didn't try to advertise it widely, but I really didn't pick up on it very much, I must say that. Yeah,
Bill, after Mr. O'Brien spoke on your show this morning, you read this email that you had, and this person corrected you on the fact that Emera was only concerned with the link rather than Muskrat Falls itself. Well,
yeah. Just on that, just for the sake of accuracy, I think the emailer was making the point that the review in Nova Scotia is dealing with Emera's link involvement with the link.
That's right. Well, I think that they should concentrate on Muskrat Falls itself also, because if this project fails, then I mean there's no point of having a link, is there?
You're right.
Yeah, so it all ties in together, you know?
Well, and that was the point I tried to make, too, probably inadequately, Craig, and that, I'd be very surprised if at this review, the review restricted itself to just the link. I mean, why wouldn't they deal with questions put to expert witnesses in this area on the project itself? So
there are major concerns. I mean, obviously, it's going to concern them as well.
Absolutely.
Bill, going back to Colin O'Brien, he mentioned how unstable this river valley is, and I'd just like to reiterate what he said there, because back in 2010 there was a huge landslide 40 kilometers upstream from Muskrat Falls, and this is not an uncommon occurrence. There have been many landslides because of this quick clay all along that river.
A landslide, was it near the river, or in the river, or off?
The hills on the side of the riverbanks themselves contain this clay, and big chunks of land slide right out into the river. Another question I had, what I was going to ask you was, back when they estimated the cost of this project to be at $6.2 billion, they estimated that the ratepayers were going to be paying in the vicinity of 18 cents per kilowatt hour for the hydroelectricity. And it's unclear who's going to be on the hook to pay this debt. Is it going to be everybody in the province? Only the people who are getting power from Muskrat Falls? I can't get a straight answer on that.
Yeah, I just taken a sort of a stab at it, Craig. I would say, it's going to go into the grid, and whether the power comes from Muskrat or comes from Bay d'Espoir or comes from anywhere else, any other source, I assume we're all in the same boat, and we're all paying an equal amount for kilowatt hours. That's
what I assume too, Bill. And if that's the case, we here in Upper Lake Melva pay around 3.2 cents per kilowatt hour.
Yeah.
An increase of over 18 cents per kilowatt hour. That's a huge increase for the people here. I don't think people realize what they're in for, Where
are you getting your power now in Mud Lake?
Our power is coming from Churchill Falls.
From the upper Churchill Falls?
Yes.
That's really interesting. I'm sure there's a lot of people who don't realize that, Craig. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Well, back in the 90s, Bill, they put a line across the river here. We used to be on diesel power.
Yeah.
And back in the 90s, they ran a cable across the river, an underwater cable. And I'm sure that was done as a test for this, maritime link that they're going to build now.
Right.
This looked like a micro test of that, and we've been getting our power from there ever since. Now, this 18 cents is based on the $6.3 billion, like I stated. Now, with this North Spur problem and the possibility of building this huge structure that they did not plan for, with the cost overruns and the huge extra expense, what's our actual power going to be?
Yeah, well, you're asking a very, very vital question there. Maybe that question will come up at the AGM this afternoon. I hope it does. And thanks for raising it and putting it in somebody's mind, I hope.
Jim Morgan is listening, and I hope that he will ask that question, you know. What can we expect to pay, and who is going to be on the hook to pay this? And, Bill, if this project fails, or I should say when it fails, because I'm convinced it's going to, we're still going to be on the hook to pay for this huge debt.
Well... Craig, you're scaring me to death. I got to say goodbye to you.
All right, Bill. Good talking.
Nice talking to you, Craig. Thanks for raising these issues, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.